Thank you, brothers and sisters. I believe it is most important for us to begin our refuge with those 30 minutes of silence. It gives us a chance to be in the same space together without worry of speaking. I find it is best to get to know our energies before anything else. Next to me is Kayawe. Like me, he has an adopted spiritual name. Let him help you when I cannot be found. Now, it is time for you to rise. Beautiful. You have changed your perspective on the world in one single act. You can now see better out of the window beside me. This glorious scene is the Red Rock Canyon. A dear friend has loaned me this yoga studio space as our fulcrum point, the beginning of our journey. For many of you, these next 10 days will prove the most difficult of any that you will ever experience. It will end with a walk through the desert, the advent of Convergence. It carries that name because at the end of the walk, a great truth will be revealed to you. It will align a vision for you and change your thinking on all that you know.
We have very few rules on this journey. The most important is to follow the wise instruction of Taalius as closely as possible. Also, you will not be allowed to consume anything other than the food and drink that we serve you.
It is important to note that your diet will be, regardless of your background, entirely organic and vegan, with a focus on plant-based whole foods.
You will have no contact with the outside world. This means no phones, no internet, no electronic devices. We also ask that you not interact socially outside of our gatherings and sanctioned spaces. And as some of you know, our locations will remain undisclosed. But for those of you who have requested it, our contact information has been provided to your loved ones just in case of emergency.
Spiritual quests should not be about rules. However, I find it is best to keep the positive energy in and push the negative energy out. And this requires a few guidelines.
As one more note, please talk to Taalius or myself if you feel unwell or at any time unable to continue with your spiritual journey. We may ask that you be removed from the rest of the group at any time for reasons of our own.
For tonight, we will chant together. Before our chant, I do want to tell you one story. It's really the story of how I came to build the Everlight Veneration. See, I remember a moment where I woke in darkness. I could barely move. I felt walls close to me. Then came a glowing light. I pressed against these curved walls only to find that I was in a shell. I pushed against the walls of the shell and out into broad daylight. And I was in a nest. This, of course, was all a dream. But I woke from that dream knowing I emerged from that shell as a raven. I meditated on this dream for days, only to come to this conclusion. I believe that the dream foretold of how we need to have our bodies fully returned to the natural world. This all made sense, because the raven is a scavenging bird that eats the dead. This vision frightened me. It told me that our remains are not to be buried in silk-lined coffins. It told me they are not to be cremated. I feared that people who did this would not have their energy find its way back to Mother Earth. At least not easily. Our conceited ways, our sense that we are above and not a part of nature, might be diminishing our time beyond. So I started charting a spiritual direction on that idea. I created a church where being a part of it meant that your body was returned to the natural world, left as food for animals and plants. But my teachings are not just about leaving our bodies to nature. My second of the 4 primary visions, which form the 4 guiding principles and basis for the Everlight veneration, involves water. Plain, pure, simple water. I will save telling you of the vision tonight so that you may have more time to rest. Just know this: all water is holy water. And when you complete the advent of convergence, I will submerge you in it. And when you emerge from the water, you will also receive your spiritual name. For tonight, we must honor the sacred purity of water. I will invite one person to step up and drink the water from this glass. You are Mara, correct?
Yes.
Mara, I want you to drink this glass of water. But don't just drink it. I want you to meditate on its mass, its molecules, and its form as it enters you. I want you to ponder deeply that this glass of water is giving to you your next hours of life. Very good, Mara. Now, let us take the lotus position for a chant to finish our evening, shall we? Please repeat after me the words I share with you to end our evening. But where I sing I, you sing we. Where I say my, you say our. To the water I sing.
To the water we sing.
Louder, please.
To the water we sing.
To the rocks I sing.
To the rocks we sing.
To the plants and the animals and the earth I sing.
To the plants and the animals and the earth we sing.
To my own place on the earth I sing.
To our own place on the earth we sing.
To my death and return to the earth I sing.
To our death and return to the earth we sing.
Louder, please.
To our death and return to the earth we sing.
Again, louder.
To our death and return to the earth we sing.
3 more times.
To our death and return to the earth we sing. To our death and return to the earth we sing. To our death and return to the earth we sing.